hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I put together 20 of my best coastal Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs. So all Valentine's Day with a little bit of a coastal twist. We're going to start with one of the little chunky love signs from the Dollar Tree. It's actually a hanging sign, but it's definitely thick enough to kind of stand on its own, which is what I'm going to use it for. So I'm just going to remove the twine from the back. I don't really care about the staples back there. And I want to make this look like the beach. So I picked out lots of blues. These are the colors that I used for this. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to do a beach scene. Trust me, like anybody can do it. Basically, when you look out to the ocean, you're going to have like a sky, and then you're going to have lots of different shades of blue. So that's what we're going to go for. So I start with like this blue cotton color, kind of reminded me of a sky color. And I'm going to do it like on the right side. And I'm going to kind of have the beach curving in from the left. So I don't want to go all the way across with my band of the sky, but I want to cover like at least 3 letters with it. Then I'm going to go in with like a more turquoise color, do a band of that. And I'm even using like the same paintbrush. I'm just wiping it off with a baby wipe in between coats because a lot of these coats are kind of similar in shade. It's not really going to mess anything up. And I want it to be all kind of blended together anyway, so that's going to work. This color is the Caribbean blue from Delta. And we're going to do that too, kind of swirling it up to the left there so we have room for a beach over there. Now I'm going to try to do like a wet look on this, and so you could do acrylic on this. It'd be really cool, but I'm going to kind of show you a way you can do it without acrylic. The final color I use here is Cloudless, and it's kind of my softest blue color, and I am just going to blend that in. And in between the different shades of blue, just blend it together. You can always go back and add a few more different colors of blue if you want to add like just a little bit of variation in the color, and see how easy that is. I was thinking about painting the left side tan, but it's already wood. I want to add sand to it in the future, so I think that's going to be fine. It's going to blend in about the same color as the sand. Then I'm just going to go in with a finger sander, not necessarily for paint, but these signs aren't always cut perfectly and they kind of have like little splinters on them. So I'm just going to kind of clean mine up a little bit here with a finger sander. And I think that looks pretty good. Now for the heart part, I thought it'd be cute to kind of cover it up with one of the Dollar Tree sand dollars. These are the sand dollars from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. It's going to be here before you know it, guys. It comes out every spring at Dollar Tree, and I can't wait for the Shore Living line to come back. It is my time of year. So I want to go ahead and make sure it's secure. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it down with some hot glue first before we attach sand to the sign to make it look like a little beach. And I think that looks really cool. It definitely gives it a nice coastal feel. And then I'm going to go in with some tan Dollar Tree sand and just some school glue. I'm just going to do a layer of school glue all over the L, part of the O, and just kind of flatten that out with a paintbrush to give myself a nice even coat of school glue. You could also use Mod Podge for this if you don't have any school glue. And then I'm just going to sprinkle Dollar Tree sand all over those areas. A nice thick coat, but not too thick. And then I'm going to spray it with some of the spray glue. I get this at Dollar Tree. It's a little hit or miss at Dollar Tree being able to find it, but I love it because you can kind of glue from the top. Because once you have your coat of sand on there, sometimes you need just a little bit more glue to help hold everything down. And the glue under and the glue on top really, I think, helps for that. I'm going to carefully go in there and start the drying process on that. I also want to make sure I don't really have like any sand stuck to the sides of the letters. So I'm just going to clean that up a bit as well. And I'm also going to do like some seashells and stuff like over on the L. I think that'd be really cool. But for right now, I'm just trying to make sure that that sand is stuck down. So I did do another coat of the spray glue and dried that. Now for the seashells, I wanted like little tiny seashells. So these are the Dollar Tree seashells that come in the little glass bottles. And I'm trying to find like the smallest ones I can. But I also like want a variety. So I'm thinking tiny, and I'm trying to decide like what kind of shells I want, how many I want. I also get some little tiny starfish on Amazon. I have those posted in my shop. That's what you see there. And I'm going to mix one or two of those in there as well. I think that looks pretty cool. And I was trying to decide if I wanted just like 3 here in the left corner. I do end up adding more. Now the trick to get these to stick is to use hot glue and then push it down through the sand. So my sand's not totally dry. It's still a little malleable. And because you want to glue to the sign behind it, not the sand. Because if you just glue it to the sand, it is going to fall off. And then I decided to kind of continue that theme all the way up. Just using more tiny shells and starfish, trying to just make it look really random, like little shells on the beach. And they're a lot smaller than the sand dollar, but I think it looks pretty cool. So I am digging how that looks, but I do want to give it that wet, glossy look we talked about. And I didn't really want to use acrylic today, so I am going to try some spray lacquer that I had from Rust-Oleum, and to make it shiny. It's the only thing I had that was super glossy, and this definitely makes it look wet, which is what I was looking for. And it was pretty easy to do. So I just sprayed that on there, gave it a quick dry, and this is how it turned out. Pretty cool, huh? I loved making these DIYs today. I think they turned out really fun. Here is like a little close-up view of my love word. And we have lots more with this coastal beach theme. Really fun for Valentine's Day. It can go with your coastal decor. You can mix it up with kind of a new theme for Valentine's Day. And even if you're not in a romantic relationship, you can have love for the beach, right? Now the next DIY, I'm just using a Dollar Tree sign. I wanted one of the bigger ones. I think this actually had a couple pieces that might have fell off in the store, but I didn't really care. I just wanted to use the back of it anyway. It's a nice large one, and I wanted to do a really big like driftwood heart using those little wood slices from the Dollar Tree. Whenever I find those wood slices, I always try to stock up. They have like the wedges, the circles, and the sticks. The sticks are my favorite because I think they really look like driftwood. I'm going to go ahead and replace the hanger with just twine. That way I can just knot it in the front like this. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it now because I probably won't be able to get to those holes after I attach all of the wood to it. So this is what they look like. They're kind of random. As you can see, there's like different like widths. They're pretty standard in length, but they do vary a little bit. Some of them have branches and stuff like that, but all of it kind of gives you that look of driftwood, which I really enjoy. Now, if you have real driftwood, you can always use that as well. Sometimes these crafting materials can be a little bit easier to work with. I also like the Dollar Tree driftwood. It's more of a flat piece, but it's really easy to craft with too. And I'm just going to start in the center. We're going to make all of the driftwood look vertical. I thought that'd be a really easy way to do the heart shape. It's just a matter of finding 3 that are the right size, and I really couldn't since they're all about the same length, so I am just going to have to cut some of them. And now one of you guys told me that I could replace the blades here on my miter scissors. I got these miter scissors on Amazon and they are extremely dull. So I'm going to show you how I did that. There's a little nut here on the right side, and I ordered the replacement blades on Amazon as well. I think I have them both listed in my shop. And you pull out this screw. Mine was a little bit difficult to take apart, and I think it's because I've never changed the blade in mine before. So then you have this part, you can just take it out, and then it's a matter of getting the blade out. Again, mine was pretty tight, and so I went online to try to figure out to read some directions, and guess what? There's a little circle in here that you have to pop out. I popped mine out with a little screwdriver, and then the blade came right out. Now, putting the new blade in was a little tricky as well. It just took a little bit of maneuvering. And actually, the little tab part here fell out on mine as well. I don't know if that normally happens, but I popped it back in. And then I'm going to pop the little circle back in. I did struggle with that as well. I did kind of have to force that in. Again, probably just because I haven't changed the blade in mine before. Then I'm going to pop it back in here. I'm trying to be so careful. I don't want to cut myself, but it was definitely more challenging than I thought it was going to be. Then put my screw back in and put the nut on the other side, and we have a fresh blade on the miter scissors, and they worked so much better. I can't remember who told me that, so whoever it was, thank you so much. And then you can just cut these very easily. It's probably the easiest way I have found to cut these. And then I'm just going to hot glue each piece on. Each piece is like shaped a little bit differently. So like if there's like a little twig sticking out, I'm going to have that kind of pointing up, you know, kind of working around each other, trying to get it as tight as possible. But, you know, I left that brown backing on the background. So if there are any spaces in between the wood that is open, it's all going to blend in together with the driftwood. I'm also trying to kind of randomize where I put the cut piece. Like on that one, I put it like kind of in the middle, and I'm just going to keep mixing it up. So it's kind of like putting together a puzzle, I always say, when you're doing driftwood, because you kind of have to try it out first. You're going to at least want to lay out your row. And then this one, I'm going to do the cut piece a little bit higher, just kind of thinking like when you're laying flooring and stuff like that, you don't want it to be all lined up. You want it to be kind of random looking. And that's what you want to do with driftwood. And as you can see, I even found like a curved piece there to kind of go around a certain area there. That was a little tricky. And so pretty cool. You're going to want a variety. I started with a couple of bags here, and then I actually added some more because I liked the variety of the pieces, being able to kind of go through them. So I started with 3 bags, and I probably technically only used 3 bags on this big sign, but I am actually going to open up 2 more bags just so I can kind of like have good choices to get just the right size piece. If I'm doing like a thicker piece, I try to continue that for the entire line. If I'm doing a thinner piece, I do like a whole row of them, kind of like that, to kind of keep it consistent. And I like some of the gnarlier looking ones too. And I'm trying to mix up. You can see there's like a slight variation in color too. I'm just trying to make it look super random as I work my way over here to the side. Now, you're definitely going to need a way to cut it. You could always use a saw too, but since you're like fitting and gluing and all that stuff at the same time, the miter scissors work really well, and they are very inexpensive. They do take a little bit of hand strength to be able to cut if you don't have any of those, but I really like them for projects like this. Anything that's kind of 3D, they will cut. They won't cut things that are flat. So these are 3D, and so they're, you know, round, so it's going to cut it well. I'm going to go all the way over to the edge. One piece is perfect there, and then we can start on the left side of our driftwood heart. Again, just piecing it together, cutting and gluing as we go. Now, I was trying to think how I could decorate this. I'm going to decorate it very simply because I don't want to cover up all this gorgeous driftwood art. And, you know, I've made driftwood hearts before here on my channel, and I love how they turned out. But this one has a completely different feel with like the wood slice sticks. I really love it. It looks really professional and high end, and no one would probably believe that I made it with supplies from the Dollar Tree. So I was getting to this point, I was a little bit slim picking, so that's when I'm going to go in and get some more of these to kind of up my game, give me a little bit more selection. I just kind of, mark it with a pencil so I can kind of cut it to the right length. If you try to estimate, you can kind of cut it the wrong length and then have to cut it again. But again, just kind of fill this entire heart out. I'm trying to get through the voiceover on this video. As you guys know, I was really sick. My whole family was. We all got sick at Christmas. And it has been a journey because it was definitely a virus that took out our voices. And I'm still not 100%. So I'm going to have to take lots of breaks today. And I'm trying to drink some hot tea with honey to try to get me through this voiceover because it's still kind of a struggle. My son got it later and he went back to college sick. And I know a lot of you guys were concerned about him. He is feeling better. Again, he still has lingering things, but I think he's back in the groove of things. And we almost have this filled out. As you can see, I opened those extra packages, gave me a really good variety. So like this is a nice thick chunky row and we are almost there. Now, I thought about doing a bow or something on there, but again, I didn't really want to cover up the driftwood, so I'm just going to do like a simple little coastal touch. I think one of the little Dollar Tree shore living starfish is going to be perfect just to give it a little beachy touch, but not cover up all this gorgeous wood. And I like the way that these are like stained. I don't really have to go in and stain or anything like that at the end because you already have kind of a slight variety in shades of wood. And we did it. We covered the whole thing up. I'm just going to clean up any like hot glue strings or anything like that. Melt those with my heat gun and make sure everything is glued down. The hot glue I use is the Gorilla Glue. It works really well to keep stuff on like this, like even a vertical sign. I think this is going to stay together. And this is how much I have left over. That's why I said I probably only used 3 bags, but technically I used 5 bags. And then this is the Dollar Tree starfish. It's white plastic, molded, but it does kind of look real. And I'm just gonna see which little rays are touching it and just add hot glue to each one. I'm just gonna leave it the white color. I think I like the contrast against the wood and just kind of glue it down here on the bottom right side. And I think that's perfect. I don't think it needs anything else. So this is our little driftwood heart. I did switch up the piece I had there on the left because I didn't really like the piece I had on there. But now I think it's perfect. And this is how it turned out, our little driftwood heart for Valentine's Day. Very coastal, but can also like work with any kind of like rustic or farmhouse decor as well. You might just want to decorate it a little bit differently than the starfish. Okay, next DIY, I'm going to take one of just the plain white hearts from the Dollar Tree that looks like slatted wood, and then one of the little shore living mermaid tails. Those come in a 3-pack, so they're such a great deal for $1.25, and I always try to have extra so that I can use them year round. Now, I don't really want to leave it natural wood. I kind of want to make it more ivory, so I'm just going to go over mine with some antique white. I don't really care about covering up the pattern on there, but it will show through a little bit because I only did 1 coat. And then I want the boards of the heart to look blue. So I'm going to use my favorite color of apple barrel paint, this cloudless color. And I'm just going to do 1 coat over the white sign. I chose the white sign because I thought it'd be easier to paint, but I think this also comes in like light pink and red. And it's a smaller heart than what we did for the driftwood heart. But I love how it turned out. I think it looks really coastal, like little coastal boards. Now for the mermaid tail, I want that to hang down or be across the heart. I thought that'd be really cool, but I thought maybe we could encrust it with like seashells because like these little seashells from the Dollar Tree kind of look like mermaid scales. So I thought we could kind of get that kind of vibe with these. Now I was trying to find smaller ones. Mine were a little bit bigger in this bottle, but I'm trying to go through them and I don't really care what pattern is on them, but I'm just kind of going for size on these and trying to like do them like scales down the mermaid tail. And just like the driftwood, you do kind of need to lay these out in advance so you know what's going to go where. I'm just going to do the tail part. I'll do the fin with something else. Now you could use hot glue for this. I'm going to use tacky glue just because these shells are really small. I think that's going to be strong enough, but you can use whatever you want. So I do a nice thick coat of the tacky glue. I've used this to encrust like anchors and stuff like that on my coastal wreath and stuff like that, and it held up really well. And so I'm just going to go ahead and then put all of my shells back on here, making sure it has good contact with that tacky glue, and fill up my mermaid tail. Then I thought I could do something a little bit different for the tail fin there just to kind of make it look a little bit different. So again, I'm going to use the tacky glue. It's nice and thick. Do a nice thick layer here at the bottom. And then I'm going to use these really tiny little shells. Again, I'm trying not to use the gray. I'm just kind of using like the tan. It's going to be kind of in the same color family as the ones before. And we are just going to go all over, kind of encrusting it. Anywhere that one will fit, I'm going to try to put one down in that tacky glue to glue that on. And it gave it a really cool look. I'm always looking for fun ways to do a mermaid tail for like, you know, the mermaid signs or the mermaid tail signs. There's so many fun ways that you can decorate them. Just a few more pieces. I do have a few more exposed wood pieces here. I want to make sure that I have really good coverage. And it looks like a little fin down there for our mermaid. And you have a little bit more work time when you're working with the tacky glue too. I did go ahead and spray it with some of the spray adhesive from the top too, just to try to make sure it is good and secure. And then I went in with my heat gun and gave it a quick dry. Sometimes it's good to let that sit for a while, but I was kind of in a hurry because I wanted to get more crafting done for you guys. So I was able to dry mine pretty well with a heat gun. Now for the heart, I'm going to go ahead and replace the hanger just with some twine. Again, knotting it in the front. I just find that the Dollar Tree signs always hang flatter against my wall when I hang them like this. And it looks pretty good too. So I just feed that through. I don't want too long of a hanger. It's not too big of a heart. And I absolutely love how this turned out. I kind of had this idea like in my mind, but actually seeing it come together, it turned out so cute. We are going to add a few more details to it as well to kind of give it more of a Valentine's Day vibe. But I do want it to look coastal farmhouse. So I'm going to take just a little bit of antique white here and just distress in one direction to kind of make it look like weathered blue boards from the beach. Just a very light dry brush, and then I'm actually going to hot glue this on. I didn't leave the hanger exposed or anything like that. I thought we could just hot glue it. You could always dangle it down, but I think that way is a little bit easier and have it kind of come down the side of the heart. The blue also kind of looks like the ocean, so that's cool for a mermaid. And then I'm going to use one of the little craft board Be Mine from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree and a couple of their little wood heart stickers. Now, you know, these little craft wood pieces from the Dollar Tree definitely need to be painted. They're made out of kind of a cardboard material, though. I always feel like they might fall apart a little bit when I'm painting them. So I'm doing a nice thin coats of ivory on these. But as you can see, they're definitely flexible. They're cute, but I prefer the wood if I can get it. But I thought this sounded like Valentine's Day, and I found that the Valentine's Day selection at my Dollar Trees right now is a little slim, so I'm going to go ahead and paint the two hearts too. I flipped one around so I could have them going in separate directions and just removed the sticker on the back. And then I'm going to dry them, go over the Be Mine with another coat because, again, that craft board material really soaks in the paint. But I thought that this ivory, like antique white color would be a nice contrast against the blue boards. I'm going to go ahead and hot glue my Be Mine on right up here to the top right. Kind of have an open spot there in my heart. And then we can just attach the little hearts kind of down, just randomly going down the sides. I know that they're stickers, but I like to hot glue mine on. It makes them a little bit more permanent. And this is how it turned out. Our little Be Mine mermaid tail with like the shell encrusted mermaid tail. I think it turned out really cute, and I think it's going to look really cute with my coastal decor in my home. What do you guys think about this one? I think it's really whimsical and fun, and you can definitely tell it's a Valentine's Day decoration as well. Next DIY, we're going to DIY one of these tinsel hearts from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by removing the hanger. I really dislike the tinsel on these things, but it's got a great plastic cage underneath, and it's nice and large. Now, you could do the same DIY that I'm going to do with the metal heart wreath form if you want. I do have that one too, but I thought it might be a little bit easier to glue to the plastic versus the metal, but I think either one would work. So I'm just going to unwind all of the garland. It makes a little bit less of a mess when you unwind it than cut it. And start with our Dollar Tree rope. This is the white nautical rope from Dollar Tree. It is the 6-foot length. And I use a total of 6 of them on this project today. Almost exactly 6 of them. So I'm going to start with 3. So I went ahead and opened up 3 packages. I'm going to keep it all one long length so I can make it all the way around my heart. They do have plastic tape on the end, and I don't want that to be visible at all. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And I want to do a fun braided rope theme on this, and it turned out so cool. So I first want to gather the first 3 pieces together. So I actually just kind of hot glued those together. Let that set up a little bit, kind of making it all one piece so that we can braid it. I'm just going to do a traditional braid like you would do with hair. That way it can kind of lay flat against our wreath form. But once this is dry, I kind of try to cinch it up a little bit to kind of make it a little bit smaller. But we're going to start on the outer row. It's going to take 3 braids to make it all the way around this because it's a nice thick heart wreath, and I think this is going to look so cute on my door for Valentine's Day. So I went ahead and replaced the hanger now because, as you can see, I'm going to cover up the little hole there. So it's going to be kind of hard to get to that later. So I just tied some twine on there and then hot glued this over that area where it kind of all comes together. I make sure I let that set up for a little bit, and then we can start braiding this. Now, when you're braiding it, it's also going to kind of tangle up the rest of your rope. And so I did like just a small part there. As you can see, it's kind of doing a reverse braid on everything else. Since it's a nice 6-foot long length on the rope, I just go ahead and do a section at a time and then kind of untangle it there. Now I just hot glue it to that outer band of the heart. As you can see, definitely going to take 3 of them to cover the whole thing. And then I can start on my next section of the braid. I braid a little bit and then unwind everything, and then we can go in and start gluing it. I did find that if you kind of unwind it as you go, it makes it a little bit simpler. But you can lay it on there nice and flat like this, hot gluing it down. But kind of one section at a time. If you do like 1 braid and then just kind of like string it out is what I'm doing, because I do want to try to continue the 1 piece of rope to make it all the way around so I don't have any stops and starts. I'm going to have all of my stops and starts at the top so I can cover that part up at the end and kind of make it look intentional. Now, you can even go around crazy surfaces like this point at the bottom of the heart because, of course, the rope and the braid is very flexible. So I just glue that down, keep braiding 1 section at a time. As you can see, I'm only doing about maybe 5 inches of braid at a time and then gluing it down. And then I have plenty left over to come all the way around. I actually had, I don't know, maybe a foot or so left here at the end. And then I'm going to, well, maybe a couple feet. I'm going to glue it all together here at the end, kind of like what we did to start it with. And then I'm going to go in with some heavy duty scissors to kind of saw through that rope and cut that off. And that was a great way to do it because it kind of kept everything together. Gluing that to the top part of my heart, kind of making it go next to right where I started as tight as I can, but leaving room for the other rows of braid. So this is how much I had left over. So I'm going to go ahead and open 3 new packages. Now, this was plenty to do the other 2 rows of the heart because, of course, they're going to be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to go ahead and cut the plastic tape off these. We're going to gather these together at the top with hot glue like we did before and glue that onto that cage. This really didn't take as long as I thought it would be. I thought it went a lot faster than like if you're wrapping a wreath or something like that, but the results were really cool. I'm really glad that I decided to do the braid. At first I was just gonna kind of wind it around, but this definitely gave it a really unique handmade touch. I love it. I glued mine onto the middle and then just started braiding like we did before. And this is going to be the shortest row. This is the inside heart. So it really didn't take very much of the rope at all. And I had plenty left for the middle section. I'm trying to overlap enough where you won't be able to see any of the plastic cage or tabs, but not too much because I want to be able to have good coverage with my final row of braid. Again, when I get to the tip of the heart, I just kind of glue that down, twist it around, and you can bend that little point very easily with a flat braid like this. And as you can see, this one was very simple. If you wanted to do just a single rope braid, you probably could. I can't think of anything from the Dollar Tree that they have that is like a cutout heart like this, but you might be able to make something out of foam board or something like that if you wanted to kind of freehand cut one. But they do have lots of these kind of like wreath forms available, the metal one and the tinsel one that has this plastic cage inside. Now for the third row, it's getting kind of full up here, but I was able to kind of work mine in, gluing that into kind of the hole there. And we're going to keep braiding and gluing this down. And I was worried that you were going to be able to see some of this like red cage through, but I was able to get it pretty good and tight where you can't see it. And you can kind of see now how it's all going to come together. 3 rows of the braided nautical rope. It turned out so pretty. We are going to decorate it a little bit too, give it a few more coastal touches, but actually on its own, it like looks so cool. Again, I get to the point, just keep working it around and braiding the rest until I can get all the way up here to the heart, making sure that when I put the glue on there, I'm gluing like the line of the heart, but also like the little side pieces as well to kind of give me a little bit more area to have contact with. And again, when I get here to the end, I'm just going to hot glue it together first before I cut it. It's going to give me a nice finished edge. It's going to kind of keep everything together, and it's going to kind of reduce any fraying of the rope. I don't want any of that. As you can see, I have lots of hot glue on my silicone mat. So the silicone mat works really great if you're hot gluing a project like this. I'm going to try to burn off any of the little hot glue strings. And then I did go in any areas that kind of had a gap like that between the braids. I did put a little bit of hot glue in there. You can kind of hot glue the rope to itself to kind of fill up any holes that you might have to make it look all more consistent. Isn't that so cool? Now for the top part, I do have a little bit of extra rope from that first heart that we braided. And so I'm going to use that to kind of make a little strap to go around the middle part of the heart here. It's going to cover up all of the loose edges and make it look more complete. The back kind of looks like a hot mess with all the hot glue, but you're not really going to be able to see it back there, so it doesn't really matter. So I hot glue my 3 rows here. trying to leave enough room to be able to wrap it around and glue the other ends. So I wrapped mine around. I did the center one through the hanger. That way it would hang straight, and glued that one down first. Then I'm going to do the other two, cutting those down to size and gluing them on the sides of the hanger to make sure everything stays together and hangs nicely in the end. And this was definitely wide enough, the 3 pieces of rope, to cover up all of the loose ends of the rope. And if your hot glue is too crazy, you can try to clean it up a little bit with a heat gun. But again, I don't really care. I'd rather have the glue on there and have the rope attached than not. And kind of arrange it here on the front to make sure all of my loose fibers and everything is covered up by the finished rope. I did a pretty good job of keeping it all in that same area, so it was pretty easy to cover it up. Again, you're going to have hot glue strings and stuff like that. That's why it's always handy to have your heat gun. And then I was going to just try to decorate it. I was thinking the Dollar Tree Shore Living Starfish would be really cute. I thought about covering the whole thing with starfish, but then I decided, less is more. I'm only going to do one side of the heart and do 3 of them over here on the side. Now, I don't want to leave them white. The white against the white, I don't think provides enough contrast. If you were doing the brown rope, I think that would work, but I want to add a little color. So I'm going to do Cloudless by Apple Barrel acrylic paint, and these little plastic starfish from the Dollar Tree are so easy to paint. I'm only going to paint the front. That's only the place that you're going to be able to see, but I do make sure that I get on the sides of each one of the rays too. And 1 coat of the acrylic paint is plenty. I'm going to do them all the same color and then attach them just to the bottom right side of the heart. And I think that turned out really beautiful. So here's our beautiful braided rope heart. Gonna kind of arrange these on here like this. And then it's just a matter of hot gluing those onto my wreath. And I'm really glad I decided to make this DIY. I was trying to think of what I could do for my front door for Valentine's Day, and I think this is going to be perfect. It's not super hot here in Florida in February, so I think all my hot glue will hold up just fine. I do have slight protection to my front porch for weather and stuff like that, but I think it's going to be just fine. So I glued all 3 down, and this DIY is complete. Our little braided rope heart for Valentine's Day. Doesn't that look so cool? I think it looks so coastal with the rope and the braids and the starfish, but I think really beautiful for Valentine's Day as well. And it's definitely a work of art. Everything you see there is from the Dollar Tree and just a really fun DIY to make today. If you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. That always helps my videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, next DIY, I picked up a little rope love sign from the Dollar Tree. It actually wasn't Valentine's Day, it was just home decor. But I thought that would be really cute to make a coastal Valentine's Day sign with. I'm going to use one of the little Dollar Tree wall shelves. I love using these to make signs because they're nice and thick and flat wood. I'm only going to need 1 for this one. It's going to be plenty big enough. And then I just had some scrap wood left over in my garage that I had cut down, but Dollar Tree craft wood would probably work as well. I just want to do a base because I want to make a standing sign for the love sign. Now, if you can't find that love sign, it'd be really easy to recreate with Dollar Tree rope. You don't really need the wood part. It just kind of was an easy way to do it. And now for the background sign, again, I want to make it look like the beach. And I'm picking out just all my colors of blue again. And I am just going to show you how easy it is to do a beach scene as well. I always tell everybody that they can do this It is really simple to do, and it's very forgiving. So if you mess up, you can always fix it. So I'm going to do a nice layer of Caribbean blue and then like this cotton blue up here for the sky, just blending it all together. My first like painting DIY that I made when I came to Florida is I took an old painting from my old house that had flowers all over it, and I did like an abstract beach scene, and I love it. I still have it hanging up above my TV in my living room. It was so easy to do. So I just kind of alternate the different shades of blue, and I'm also going back and blending them all together. Again, just using the same brush, just kind of wiping it in between the different shades. And I was trying to use the same shades that I used earlier, but I don't know what I did with one of them. So I kind of mixed it up with another color, the Caribbean, cloudless, blue cotton, and Caribbean blue. And the Delta is from Target. The other ones are all from Walmart, or I actually get the Apple Barrel on Amazon Prime now. I didn't have a color for sand, so I kind of mixed the brown that I had with some white to kind of give me a sand color, and I'm going to do that here at the bottom. Just a little stripe of beach down here at the bottom of my sign. I'm not going to do sand on this one, but you totally could if you wanted to. And kind of blend that in together. I also want it to kind of look like sea foam. So I did some white acrylic too, trying to do like a sea foam look where the ocean meets the beach. Just kind of pouncing that on there, blending it in. I didn't think it was, I think it blended in a little bit too much, probably because my paint is still wet. So I'm going to go in here and add a little bit more white. And again, just blend it in. I can also use that white to kind of go in and do some sea foam. I can also use it to kind of give me some wave action out here in my ocean. Again, kind of blending it all together with my different shades. I just want a very abstract beach scene. And it's just a little bit of working with it, but so easy to do. I think that's going to provide the perfect background for my little love sign, and it's just the right size. And I thought this would make a really good shelf decoration for Valentine's Day. I'm actually going to put mine, I think, on my console way in my entryway. And here is the little love sign. Just like with regular rope, I'm just going to burn off any of the fuzzies on there. It's pretty clean, but it had like a few strands. And you can kind of see, if you can't find this one, how they formed the word love with the rope. Again, it would be really easy to recreate with Dollar Tree rope. This actually had hangers on the back, which I don't need. So I'm just going to unscrew those and save those for another DIY. So I have a flat wood surface here on the back. It's going to make it super easy to glue down. So I just do a bead of hot glue all over the word love and attach it to my sign. I don't mind the holes on the side of the shelf. I think they look nice and rustic, and just pressing that down, super easy. Now I do want it to stand up. You could make it a hanging sign with the holes on there though. So I cut my craft wood down to size. Actually, this was scrap wood that I had in my garage. And I'm going to mix like a driftwood color by using the antique white mixed together with a little bit of antique wax by Waverly to give me this nice shade of driftwood, because that wood was like really yellowish looking. It didn't look very coastal. And I'm going to go over the top, the front, the back, and both sides with that color, kind of staining it on there. I do like a little bit of the wood grain showing through, so I kind of wipe it with a baby wipe as well. And then I go back in and distress it with just the antique wax by Waverly to kind of accentuate like the wood grain, kind of make it look like driftwood color, which is what I was going for. I'm going to distress the front of it too, because you're going to be able to see that. And just kind of blend that in as well. Just kind of working in one direction, so you still get that wood grain like striation, but it took away all of the yellow out of this wood. And it was a little rough, this wood. So I did have to sand it down a little bit, but I think that looks pretty good. Now to attach it here to the front, I thought I could just glue it on. It is a little heavy with the wood and then the wood sign and the rope though, so I thought maybe I should reinforce it to make it a little bit stronger. And I'm just going to do that with some of the Dollar Tree little mini Jenga blocks. But first, I'm just going to use the Gorilla Glue hot glue, do a bead on the bottom of the shelf, and glue that on the base, trying to center it on here. But I left plenty of room here in the back so that I had room for braces. I'm only going to do 3. I just put glue on the bottom and on the shelf to kind of brace it, just make it a little bit stronger. And then just let that glue dry. Super easy DIY. And I think it turned out really pretty. What do you guys think about my little love ocean sign? Again, we did the very easy like ocean scene abstract painting on the back with the rope love word. Definitely looks coastal or nautical on it as well. And then the base, I tried to give that weathered driftwood look from the beach. I think it turned out pretty cool. It was definitely an easy DIY, and I think it's going to look really cute with my coastal decor. Okay, up next, we're going to DIY one of these little wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. This is one of the slatted ones. What I'm going to do is I want to make this a driftwood heart for Valentine's Day, but I'm going to kind of leave the slats open, and so I'm just staining those all with some antique wax by Waverly to kind of give them a finish to start with because it's easier to get to them at that point. Now I'm going to use driftwood, and I'm just going to cover like the individual slats of the heart with driftwood. And I am using the driftwood vase filler. I get this at Target. It's normally like $10 a box. It's a vase filler, so it's like back in that kind of department. At my Target is always on end stand, but it does go on sale from time to time. So I always try to stock up on this driftwood when it goes on sale, because it's great to craft with. It's really flat. The pieces are really easy to glue together like that. So you can kind of see I kind of had to, kind of do a pattern around the bottom just to fill that all the way in. But when you get to like the different like slats of it like this, it gets a little bit easier because you're just going straight across. And like I always say with these driftwood projects, it's just like putting together a puzzle. If one piece isn't going to work, you pick up another one and try it. And you just keep building and building until it's all filled in. I love making driftwood projects. They turn out so cute. And this is probably my favorite driftwood to work with. I have bought it from Amazon before. I do have some listed in my shop. You just don't get very many pieces with that. And it's usually kind of more of a rounded driftwood I have found. I really liked working with this flatter driftwood from Target. Now this top part is going to be a little bit more challenging trying to do that shape, but you have all different shapes and sizes of these, so you can just keep playing around with it until it works. And I'm just attaching all of them with hot glue. If I have to overlap it a little bit with the piece next to it, I totally do. I will just glue those together. But basically, I'm just trying to cover as much of this wood heart as I can with the driftwood. Now, as you can see, that stain that I did on the back slats, is a lot darker than the driftwood. And that's the only thing I don't really like about the driftwood, is that it's very light. But the great thing is that it's really easy to stain. So I'm just using a chunky brush from the Dollar Tree and some more antique wax by Waverly and going all over this heart. And it really brings out the character in that wood and makes it look really fun for like a driftwood project. Most of my driftwood projects that I have bought are more kind of this color of a driftwood instead of that really light driftwood. And I kind of wanted to stain it a little bit because I kind of wanted to build out on this a little bit. I kind of wanted it to have a little bit of a darker background. So while it's here, I'm going to go ahead and make a hanger. I'm just going to take some twine, some of that thick twine, and tie a knot. And I'm just going to attach that to the back here. And it's thick enough right here that I can just use a staple, because we have all of that driftwood thickness as well. Now I thought I would decorate it, so I'm pulling out some of my collection. This is a starfish and a sand dollar that I got at Amazon. You can totally use the ones from a Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to do some seashells as well, just to kind of decorate it a little bit, just bring a little bit of fun to each tier of that little driftwood heart. I'm just kind of moving them around, seeing where I like them. I like the size of those sand dollars. They're a little bit smaller than the ones from the Dollar Tree, but just kind of playing around with it until I get it the way that I like it. I kind of like using the ivory colors all together. It's a nice contrast against that darker driftwood. Just going to finish it off here with another seashell. Look how cute that looks. I think this is really fun for Valentine's Day and really unexpected. And this is how our little driftwood slatted heart turned out from the Dollar Tree. Now, finding driftwood could be your hardest part on this. I've always purchased it from Target, but I've had trouble getting it from there lately. But this is another version of the driftwood heart for Valentine's Day, and I really love how it turned out. This DIY turned out so cute. So another tinsel project from the Dollar Tree. It's the XOXO sign, and it's covered in this like sparkly tinsel stuff that Dollar Tree loves to cover their products in. But we're just going to go ahead and take all of that off, and it's going to give us a great cage to make our own little XOXO sign. So basically, it's pretty easy to unwind these. They have all the little tabs. You can just take them off. If it gets too difficult at any point, you can just go in there with your scissors and kind of cut it off. And I thought we could do something really kind of coastal and fun with this instead of that tinsel. So pro tip is these little lint rollers from the Dollar Tree work great at picking up that tinsel and glitter. Now, I was afraid that all the little pegs that were sticking out from holding all that tinsel on were going to interfere with our project. So I'm just using some heavy-duty scissors, the little KitchenAid scissors, and I'm just going to go in and trim all those pegs off just so I don't have to worry about trying to cover them in the final project. And as you can see, there are like tons of them. But they do cut off pretty easily if you have a pair of heavy-duty scissors. Now we're going to use the thick nautical rope cotton from the Dollar Tree. This is the 6-foot one, so this is the thick, chunky white. And I thought we could cover the letters with a rope and do some rope letters. So I find that my fabric scissors cut through that thick rope better than my strong scissors, actually. And I'm just going to cut out 2 pieces to cover up all the letters, and then I'm going to double that up because we have 2 X's, and so we can kind of make a copy of the first one. It definitely needs 2 pieces of the thick, chunky rope, though, to cover that because it's a pretty large letter on the sign. And then just going to hot glue the rope to the cage, and we have a perfect little X or an XOXO sign. This was really fun to put together and really easy. You just got to make sure that you don't burn yourself with your hot glue. I say that, yet you know I do it all the time, right? So we got both of our X's, so now we can start working on our O's. And same thing, it's about 2 rope thickness to cover up the XOXO. And you know, they have other words as well. I think they have one that says love. So you could do love as well, basically the same exact way. And I'm just kind of having the beginning and ending of the O kind of meet up at the bottom. Doesn't have to look perfect, and those rope edges can actually give you a little bit more character to a project, but I'm not trying to overdo the distress on those. So just a double loop of rope on both O. Now, once you hot glue that much stuff down to that cage, you do kind of have some craziness going on in the back. So I'm just cleaning up all the excess hot glue with some heat. And then this is the 9.5-foot decorative nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. I thought it'd be fun to do the contrasting brown color and a thinner rope like this to cover up these little pieces that connect the X and O's together. And just to kind of act as a bridge between the two different kinds of rope and the different letters, if you didn't want to do this, you could always just cut the letters apart. But I wanted them to all be one piece like this because it would make the piece easier to hang on my wall for Valentine's Day. So I just start out by hot gluing that to the back, twisting it around a couple times to cover up that connection, and then cutting it and gluing it to the back as well. Easy peasy, and we're going to do that 6 times, all the times that the letters are connected. And I like the two different ropes together. I think it provides definitely a nice contrast. It definitely goes with the vibe of the rope letters. So there we have XOXO. It's looking really cute. And I'm just going to go ahead and use some twine to make a hanger. Kind of pushing that out of the way so I can reattach a hanger at this point. And I'm just going to tie that twine off to make a simple hanger. Now, you could stop at this step because it is super cute. I'm going to take it another step and decorate it a little bit more, and you'll see that here in just a second. I was trying to think of ways I wanted to kind of cover like the back of the O's with like fishnet or something like that. But you know, that fishnet from the Dollar Tree has got like the really thick, wide openings in it. So I wanted a smaller fishnet. So I'm going to use one of these little ombre tote bags from the Dollar Tree. And this one has like the ivory and then it like ombres into pink. And I thought the pink would be perfect for Valentine's Day. We could do like a little pink fishing net for the back of the letters. So I'm just going to kind of cut the fabric in two, right where the ombre like changes from like ivory to pink, to give myself a nice piece of pink material that looks like fishing net, I think. I think this makes a great fishing net. And I thought we could use that to cover the back of the O's. It's going to give us a pop of color. It's definitely going to go with the coastal feel of this DIY. So I'm cutting it a little bit bigger than I need it to be. And then I'm just going to stretch it out, hot gluing it to the back of the piece. And this worked out perfectly. I was so glad that I thought to do this. I love working with these little ombre tote bags. If you see them at your Dollar Tree, be sure to pick them up if you do a lot of coastal DIYs, because I use both parts. I like to use the pink ones, and I like to use the ivory part as well. And it's just a cheap, inexpensive way to get some fishnet for a DIY. So I'm going to do the same thing here on the other letter. Kind of cutting it to size as I go about, gluing it on. I don't want so much fabric that you're going to be able to see it on the outsides of the letters, but I want enough that I can stretch it out and glue it down and kind of give myself a nice netting to the back of the O's. And isn't that cute? I love it. I think it's so fun. I wanted to do one more touch, and so I'm going to use some of these little DIY wood stickers from the Dollar Tree just to add another pop of color, and I'm just going to attach those with hot glue to the X's, the pink ones, just for another little punch of pink and another little texture for our little coastal XOXO sign. And this is the final project. I think it looks so cute. Now, I did want the color a little softer on the heart, so I did lighten that up a little bit with that terracotta color, and this is how it looks hanging on my wall for Valentine's Day. I love all the little extra details like the netting and stuff like that. But if you can't find the netting, I think it would be just as cute with the rope. I really like the two-tone, using the two different colors of rope together on this one. And I've actually hung this up for the last couple of years here for my coastal Valentine's Day decor, and I really love how this one turned out. This is one of the little burlap 5x7 canvases from the Dollar Tree. I love these. They come in 5x7 or 8x10, which I love because they're standard sizes, so you can use frames like this from the Dollar Tree. This one's like a weathered white sign. I thought that looked really coastal. I just removed the glass and the staples, and I'm gonna reinforce the corners with a dot of hot glue in each corner because when you put the canvas in there, it kind of can stretch or break your frame a little bit. Now, for the heart for Valentine's Day, I'm going to use a wood heart from Dollar Tree just as a stencil and use a white paint pen to kind of sketch out a perfect little heart here on the front of the burlap. And then we're going to use some of my favorite, the Dollar Tree macrame cord in white. And we're going to do a little bit of rope art for a heart for Valentine's Day. The rope looks very coastal, especially against the burlap and with that weathered frame. I just start right here at the very tip of the heart, and I am just gluing straight to my sketch of the paint pen for the first row of the heart. Just kind of doing one section at a time. Make sure to protect your fingers there if you're hot gluing. I like to use the little hot glue finger protectors from Dollar Tree. And just keep that same string going for the next layer of the heart. As you can see, I'm only doing one little section at a time here, however much I can kind of glue down before my hot glue starts to set up a little bit. And I'm trying to keep it as tight as I can. It would be cute with just an outline of a heart, but I'm going to go ahead and fill mine all the way in. I thought that would look cool. So I just keep following that same heart pattern that we made with the stencil and just keep going until we have a little heart. You get kind of like almost a triangular shape here at the end, but this macrame cord is nice and skinny enough that it's pretty easy to get it exactly where you need it to be. And this is one of the little cake decorating tools from the Dollar Tree. You guys ask me a lot what that is. It works great for hot glue, these little tools. I like to pick those up as well. I go all the way to the very center, trying to fill the whole thing up with rope, but I also don't want like any exposed hot glue if I can help it, because I don't want my macrame cord to look yellow or anything like that. So I try to do as cleanly as possible. And then just kind of burn off any excess glue strings. And now we can put this together. So there's the frame. I'm going to pop it in. Now it is a canvas board, so it's thicker. So it's going to stick out the back. I just do a bead of hot glue on each side, working that in. Again, I reinforced my corners so that it would not break on me. Those Dollar Tree frames can be a little finicky. And then I want mine to stand up, so I saved the back of my frame, and I'm just going to attach that to my burlap canvas with hot glue all the way around. That way I have a stand. And so you can totally use the Dollar Tree frames with the burlap canvases. And I think this turned out really cute. It was very easy to make. And, this doesn't necessarily have to be coastal. This could go with just about any style. I did have a little bit of hot glue that you could see there, so I tried to clean that up a little bit with my heat gun. And this is how my little macrame heart turned out. Super cute. If you wanted to add like a little coastal touch, you could add like a starfish or something on there as well. But I think the rope and the burlap and that distressed frame really gives it that coastal farmhouse vibe that I was looking for. And it was really easy to put that one together. Now, the next DIY, I wanted to make some Valentine's Day coasters. So again, I'm going to use a wood heart from the Dollar Tree. And this is the thinner white rope. This is the 11-foot white rope. And I thought the thinner white rope would be easier for this DIY. I'm going to start with just a piece of white felt that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I am just going to use a Sharpie and sketch out 2 heart shapes on there. That way the back of my coasters have a nice felt surface, and it's going to be something that I can use to attach the rope to it. And then I'm just going to cut this out. I want it to be a perfect heart shape, so I don't really care if I'm including the marker line. That will be on the side with the rope anyway, so you won't be able to see it in the end. And I just cut out 2. I'm only going to do 2 coasters. I'm doing these for my coffee table, and I think I only need to do 2. There's only 2 of us around here now. Empty nesters. And then this is the Dollar Tree rope. Again, this is the skinnier one. I find that this one's a little bit harder to find than the 6 foot, because I went through my huge rope stash and I didn't have very much of this. Now I am going to start with the end of the rope being at the very tip of the heart, hot gluing that down. I'm also overlapping the edge of the heart just a little bit so that you won't be able to see the felt in the finished project. And it's kind of the same construction as the macrame heart, because once we make it all the way around the heart like this, we're just going to keep it going. One piece, less loose ends, and just gluing one section at a time, we're going to fill out the heart. Now I cut like both of the hearts the same size, but anytime you're hand making something like this, they actually turned out differently. And I kind of like that. I like that the hearts are shaped a little bit differently. It makes them look more random. Here at the end, I tried to make sure I cover all of it, and I kind of glue down the very tip, trying to make it look as clean as possible, and try to kind of glue together any gaps in the rope there, because the center part can be a little bit tricky. And we have one little rope coaster for Valentine's Day. Definitely coastal, very sweet, and very easy to DIY. I do put a little glue here on the end so that it doesn't fray the very end of the rope and kind of keeps it all together in one piece. Super cute. I'm going to use that same piece of rope to do our second one the same way. Again, I'm going to start at the end, and I did it exactly the same, but again, the felt kind of stretches, the rope kind of stretches, so you kind of get a little bit of a different look, even though you did it the same way. So again, just continuing that, kind of gluing one section at a time. You can kind of go a little bit crazy on this and do like half the heart at once. And then I think this is what probably made it look a little bit different. Maybe how I did the last piece and how it kind of all came together. But like the first one was kind of like a tall heart, and this one's kind of like a wider heart. But again, I kind of like that. I again glue the loose edges of the rope to make sure that they don't fray and that they look as nice as possible, so that I can display these for Valentine's Day. I think these will work well for coffee cups or whatever I want to sit on my coffee table. And I really like how they turned out. I've always wanted to do a rope coaster, and I don't think I ever have. See the difference in shape? Slight difference. They have the felt back. You could do that in any color you want. And if you wanted, you could even do like the brown rope color for these. That would look really cute as well. And this is how they turned out, our little rope coasters for Valentine's Day. These would make a great gift as well. You could do like a whole set of them, tie them together with some red ribbon, be a super cute gift that anybody would enjoy. I'm going to use one of these little pink hearts. I just got one of those the other day from the Dollar Tree with the glitter all over it. One of the wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to use one of these pieces of removable wallpaper in my favorite pattern, the tropical leaf pattern. So I wanted to do something really fun with these hearts, so you will see how they turn out. So I'm just going to go ahead and just use the heart as a template to draw that out on the back of the wallpaper, and I'm simply going to cut this out. Have you guys worked with this wallpaper before? I love it. I've used it on so many DIYs for every single season, and it's just so beautiful. Look how pretty that is. I think that'd be really pretty if you were actually to cover a wall with it as well. So it's just a giant sticker now. So we're just going to peel and stick that onto the little heart, the wood heart that we have. And I love those. Those pieces are so easy to DIY with. I just got a couple more of those. Now I'm going to sand around the edges to make sure that I got perfect cut. And then I wanted to frame it out with some twine. This is the thicker twine that you get at Walmart. It's a little thicker than the twine that you get at the Dollar Tree. But I just wanted like a very simple rope border to go around this sign. And so I'm just going to use hot glue. And we're just going to glue this all the way around. So what I was thinking with this is I wanted something like really tropical, really coastal, but for Valentine's Day. And I think this turned out so fun. So that looks pretty good. We have a great back piece for the little heart. And I'm just going to poke holes so we can go ahead and reattach the hanger that came with it. And easy peasy, that's so much easier than painting it, right? And so I thought this heart could go on there, but I wanted to do something really fun with it. So I'm just going to remove the hanger and I'm going to use some of this pink burlap that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I thought that we can make these hearts look like flamingos, like two flamingo necks and like their little flamingo beaks like touching each other, like almost like kissing. And so I'm just simply wrapping the glitter with the pink burlap, and it's going to just tone down that pink glitter. And this is like a kind of a perfect color, I think, for a flamingo. You can kind of still see a little bit of glitz and glam through the fabric, but that's okay. I think it toned it down a lot. So just went all the way around like that with the burlap until it's covered like this. That looks pretty cute like that, right? But I thought we could make this into flamingos. So to do that, I'm going to start with some chalk paint. This is the color ink. You don't have to use chalk paint, but it does work really well for coverage on fabric. And then I'm just going to start painting like where the beaks would be of the flamingos. And just kind of judging how big each one should be so they're kind of like uniform. And can you already kind of see it where it's like two flamingos like kissing? I thought that was a really fun idea. It's not what I had originally planned to do with this heart, but I was so glad I came up with this idea. Now I'm going to paint this part of the beak white. And that's going to kind of simulate like the way that a beak looks on a flamingo. And this is just like ivory paint, and I'm just going to do that on both sides. And then I was trying to think how I could do eyes for these flamingos. I thought about using like googly eyes or something like that, but I thought that would look, kind of childlike and cartoonish. And I had some of these little wood half beads, and I thought they'd be perfect because if you have them upside down, it's going to give you a very like flat eyeball look, which is kind of like what a flamingo has. So I'm just going to paint the back of those little wood rounds, half beads. And then once I get them painted like an ivory color, I'm just going to draw like a very simple like pupil on there with just a black Sharpie. And I think this gave it a little bit more of an elegant look compared to like a googly eye. And so I'm just going to attach those with hot glue, kind of where I think they would go on a flamingo. And we have two little kissing flamingos for Valentine's Day. Isn't that fun? I love this idea. So I'm going to attach it to the heart sign that we made. That's going to be the background. And so I'm just going to go all over the back of it with hot glue. It is foam, but since I have the burlap on there now, it's not going to cause any problems with the foam. And I'm going to glue that down to the heart. Now, I wanted to make it a little bit more substantial. I thought that the Dollar Tree sign was a little thin, and so I'm actually going to build it out a little bit more. Now, this is just a thrift flip sign that I found at Goodwill, and it had a great frame, but I just kind of wanted to cover the background. And so I am just creasing it out with some more of that removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree, and that way I'll know where to cut. And I can get a pretty good estimate of what I can use to cover that. And this is just like the white board. I did cut it a little thinner than I wanted, but that's okay because I can always kind of patch it together here with a piece that was left over. And it was kind of a busy sign, and so this is just a quick, easy way to cover that up without painting it. So I'm just going to peel and stick. I kind of like the color that the frame already is. It's kind of like a bluish green color. And so I think that's going to make a fun background. And building this out on that, I'm just going to attach it to the frames with some hot glue on both sides. It's just going to make the piece a little bit more substantial because I really hate the thin Dollar Tree signs sometimes. I usually like to layer them. And so this is how it turned out. Our little kissing flamingo heart. I think it's so fun. One of my very favorites. And we just spotted a wild flamingo in Grand Turk on our Christmas cruise. We were buzzing down the highway in a golf cart, and my son spotted one. So we had to pull over and take some photos. It was such a fun find. Okay, the next DIY, I'm going to use a thrifted sign from Goodwill. I think I got this half off, so it was like 50 cents. But if you don't have a sign or a thrifted sign, you could always use one of these signs from the Dollar Tree. It's going to give you pretty much the same effect. And I just need to clean this up. I want to make my own canvas, and so I made my own fabric with sublimation. I did a video on this. I can't seem to find the footage of it, but I will share the design if you want to try this yourself with sublimation. You'd have to have a sublimation printer, or you can just print it out on paper and get the same effect with Mod Podge. So I was actually able to remove most of the image on there with just fingernail polish remover, which was a nice step here so that I can go ahead and kind of give myself a blank canvas here. I don't want any of that design coming through my fabric. So I'm just going to cover the little thrifted sign with ivory acrylic. And that is going to give us the perfect background to make our own little canvas here. I designed this image on Canva, and I will share it for sure. And I'm just kind of using an ink pen to kind of map out exactly where I need to cut this to fit inside that frame on that picture. Isn't this pretty? And it really reminds me of that little sailboat that we made with the little heart on the sail. And then I had it say love across. I think it's so pretty. And I'm just going to basically decoupage that on there. So if you don't have a sublimation printer to make your own fabric like I did, you could always do this with paper. But I love making my own fabric out of that white polyester from the Dollar Tree. It's so fun. So I just did a thick layer of Mod Podge, laid it down, and then I'm going to also Mod Podge on top to make sure that this fabric is sealed down. And it just really kind of gives the appearance of a canvas. And then I thought it needed a little bit of bling, and I'm going to use one of these little sequin heart that they have at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use the red one because that's kind of what's on that boat. I'm just going to attach it to the fabric with some hot glue. And I think these are a great way to add some bling to your Valentine's Day DIY. And we have our little love boat here. Now, I wanted to finish it off a little bit more with another little coastal touch. So I'm going to use some of this rope from the Dollar Tree. This is the thinner brown rope. And I'm just going to frame that out. I always like a good rope border on things. I think it really provides a little bit more texture, and it definitely gives a coastal touch to just about anything you use it on. And I'm just going to use one piece, cut it off, and hot glue that all the way around to finish off our little love boat canvas. And this is how it turned out. I love the fabric texture, but I really think this would be really easy for you to create with just the free printable that I will link in the description underneath today's video. But I love the image. I think it's so cute with a little heart boat. Very coastal, very fun for Valentine's Day, and the little glitter heart is fun as well. This one is a sign that I got at the Dollar Tree. It says sisters before misters. I'm just going to go with it because I really like the little blue frame. It's got like this foam heart on it. So I'm going to kind of try to remove as much of that as I can without causing any damage. Because I kind of like the burlap that's on there, the brown burlap. I think this is going to look really kind of coastal and fun with my decor with that blue faux wood with that sparkly burlap on there. And then I plan to cover up the sisters before misters. And then this is just another sign that I got at the thrift store. It's the perfect size for this. And it's kind of cute because it was actually a seashell sign, but we're going to make this extra special. Now, instead of painting it, I'm going to use some more of that removable wallpaper. You guys know I love this stuff. And I'm going to use just like the white board pattern. Just such a quick, easy way to cover a sign like this. And you don't even have to wait for your paint to dry. So I just went ahead and put it on there, and I'm just going to cut it with my sanding block. It's going to give me the perfect cut there along the bottom of the sign. Now, it was a little too skinny to cover the entire sign, so I am going to have to use a second piece and kind of fill in the gap here on the side. And I actually had like a scrap piece where I can line up the board just right. So once I have like the next board that would be repeating in the pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and attach that to the sign. And then again, using my sanding block to cut that off. And this is going to give us a great background for that skinny Dollar Tree sign to make a very substantial piece, and you don't have like a skinny sign hanging on your wall. Just finishing up the sanding on that. Now, I did want to distress it a little bit, and I wanted to take care of these black sides. So I'm just going to use some acrylic paint, and we're going to go all around the edges just because I thought the black was a little bit too much of a contrast for what we're going for on this sign. And I kind of want it to match the wallpaper on the sides. And then I thought it would be good to like distress, with like a chunky brush, just to kind of, make the boards look a little softer, kind of give it more of a coastal, weathered, beachy touch, just using a baby wipe to wipe off the excess. Now, I was trying to get the glitter off of this, which, you know how they are with glitter. I tried, but I'm just going to go ahead and start painting over this where it says Sisters Before Misters. And I'm just going over it with some white paint, trying to get as much coverage over the writing as possible because I kind of wanted to make my own sign on this, but I loved the blue faux wood on there and the burlap, so I kind of wanted to save those parts and just replace this middle part. If you had another like wood heart that was this size, you could totally just keep layering signs. But I didn't really have anything that size, so we're just going to make it look better with paint. So once I have like a good outline, I can go in with that white paint and just fill in the inside of our heart. And this is kind of going to give me a blank canvas to help me cover up all of that writing. Now, this is some paint I'm using from Target. It's called Terracotta Pot. And I think it's a beautiful color. Look how pretty this is. I think it almost looks like a salmon color, and I think it looks great with the blue. So I'm going to go over where I just painted it white, my blank canvas, and we're going to paint this heart pink. And I love using like traditional like Valentine's Day colors, like pink and stuff like that, mixed together with my coastal blues. So once I have it outlined, I can just go ahead and fill in. This is a chalky acrylic that I got at Target. I'm just trying to go for maximum coverage to cover up all that glitter that was underneath of it. Now I'm going to use some of this twine from the Dollar Tree, but it's a little gnarly in some places, and so I like to go over it with a lighter first to burn off all the fuzzies and any of like the extra parts that are sticking out. And I thought we could use that twine to actually spell out our word on here. And I wanted to do like a cursive love. So I'm just going to kind of start here with the top of the loop for the L. And we're going to do like some rope lettering. So using hot glue, I'm just going to kind of loop that like on top, like a fancy L. We're going to bring it down, and then we're going to loop it back the other direction, kind of like a cursive L, just kind of working one piece at a time. And this was actually easier to do than I expected. So I'm going to go up and around to start an O And then we're going to kind of like do a little fancy loop across the O to come over, and we're going to spell out the word love like this. I thought this was really fun, and I like the different textures. I think it looks great with my decor, and it's just kind of unexpected. It makes this Dollar Tree sign look so much more high-end. So love was actually a pretty easy word to spell out in cursive here. Just finishing up the E. And I want to kind of make it go all the way to the outside of the heart, kind of like I did at the beginning of the word. Then I needed to kind of cover up this place that had the little flower on there before. So I'm just going to use a starfish. And then we can attach our little heart sign from the Dollar Tree. I'm just using hot glue to attach it to our thrifted sign. And I think they look really nice together. I thought we could use that same twine that we spelled out the word love with to actually do the rope border around this. It's going to give me a really thin rope border, but it's going to finish up that seam in between the heart and the sign on the bottom. And I'm just hot gluing that all around. I thought that was another fun touch on this project. Again, that twine from the Walmart, I love it because I love the thickness of it, but you definitely have to clean it up from time to time. Continuing to use hot glue all the way around. You could always use the thin Dollar Tree rope to border that out as well. But super cute. I hope they have these same exact hearts again this year. I haven't seen them yet. But then again, they only have a little bit of the Dollar Tree Valentine stuff out at some stores. Now I'm going to make a simple little expo here for the top, just using some of that Dollar Tree burlap. I just cut it in half to make two little thinner strips. And we're just going to do a really simple expo. I got some pink ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This is just kind of like a sheer. And then I got some of this XOXO ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to have to show you on my Valentine's Day haul. I got so many great Valentine ribbons. So excited to craft with all of them. So we're just going to do a simple expo, layering all those together and then tying that off with a zip tie. Such an easy DIY bow to do, and it provides a fun little bow here. And I'm going to kind of put that here on the other side from where we decorated with the starfish on the right side. And then this is from the Dollar Tree as well. It's a little pink burlap rose. It's got a little bit too much going on with the stem and stuff. It's just making it kind of too thick to use the way that I wanted. And so I'm just kind of pulling off the papery part of that so that I can trim it down a little bit so it doesn't stick out as far. I just kind of want the burlap rosette part of it. And once I get it trimmed down, I'm just going to use some hot glue and glue that right in the middle where I have the little zip tie on my expo. And I love the rose for Valentine's Day. I think it gives it a nice little touch. Now, these are some of those laser cut craft board from the Dollar Tree. And these are just from the regular crafters section. And they have these beautiful little ornate hearts with like different cutouts. And I thought that would match really well. The brown is the same as like the rope. And it's going to provide another little Valentine touch right there underneath of our rope love word. And I love how this one turned out. I think it's so fun.
And you might be better off just using a plain heart sign, one of the wooden signs. That way you won't have any texture or anything like that. But I love it. I love the blue. I love the burlap. And I think it was really fun. The love word is really what sets it off.
Okay, are you ready for another Valentine DIY? I am going to use another thrifted sign. I think I got this one for $1.50. I kind of liked it because it was like slatted and wood, and I thought I could make a nice beachy sign out of this. But you can basically use whatever you've got. You can put a couple Dollar Tree signs together and get about the same size. I'm going to cover it again with that removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree in my favorite design. These tropical leaves. As you can see though, it was a little bit shorter than my sign, but the great thing is the pattern repeats on these. See how you can line that up? Just like you were going to put it on a wall where you can have the pattern line up. And I'm just going to use just a small piece of another one to finish off the bottom part of this sign. And I kind of wanted to do a background with this one as well. I'm going to do another Valentine Thanksgiving DIY, but this one's going to look a little bit different than the first one we did. So just using my sanding sponge to give myself a clean cut on the edge of my sign. It gives you the perfect cut, and I love working with this stuff. Now, if you remember, that sign was slatted before, and I don't really want to lose that, even though I covered it up with that, with this paper. So I'm kind of finding like where the slats are and kind of creasing that in between. It's kind of almost like cutting it, and then I'm just going to go in and actually cut it with just a razor. So it looks like it's different slats of wood. I think that just kind of adds to the coastal feel. I like the board look. And then I'm also going to sand and kind of distress that a little bit just to make it look a little bit more rustic. And just kind of sanding all over just to make sure everything is down. Everything's kind of got the same vibe, and we have that beautiful background. Now, these are some more flamingos from the Dollar Tree. These two have their heads together, and they have these cute little legs with their like knees touching. But you know, I can't stand the spoil on these DIYs, so I'm going to take it off and use the cage. Now, usually when I take the tinsel foil off of these things from the Dollar Tree, you get like a great like plastic cage underneath. This came with like a solid cage that has like all the little pegs on the sides, which I wasn't really expecting. I guess I should have known by the way it looks on the back, but I'm going to make it work. I just want to recover that. You know, it is a really pretty color of pink, so you could leave it as is, but you're going to be stuck with all those tabs along the outside. And it does have these little eyelashes as well, and like a paper beak. And so I'm just removing that with some heat. And I'm going to pop off the little eyelashes as well from our little flamingos. Now I'm going to kind of start trimming it up a little bit. So I'm going to kind of cut them apart right there and right here, because we're going to attach that to that sign. So we're not going to need like those pieces connecting them for structure at all. They can just be connected at the knees. Now I wanted like some kind of a pink fabric to cover it, but something fun and unexpected. And so I'm going to use one of these little pink hand towels from the Dollar Tree. It's going to give me that nice fluffy like terry cloth fabric. And I'm going to use that to actually cover the flamingos. So I'm kind of like just kind of feeling where their legs are. I don't need to cover the leg parts. I'm just going to need enough fabric to cover the flamingos. Kind of just cutting it into two pieces with definitely more fabric than what is needed. I'm just going to kind of work on one flamingo here at a time, but I'm going to kind of use that as a template for the other piece. Okay, so I want to cover the flamingos with this fabric. Now, I thought I can just kind of cut here between the legs, a little slit, pull that up and start hot gluing that. I don't want too much excess fabric, but I want enough that I can cover up all of these tabs on there. I kind of wanted to go in and cut all of those off, but this was a really like brittle plastic material. I didn't think it was going to trim off too well, so I'm just going to cover them up. So I'm just using hot glue to attach the extra fabric onto the back of the plastic flamingo. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way around. Now I'm going to go ahead and start on the head and the neck here, just kind of cutting off the fabric as I go and hot gluing that to the back, trying to get as good a coverage as I can without too much bulky fabric in the back causing trouble. And then the inside of the neck is a little bit of a trickier area, just cutting out any excess fabric. And again, just attaching that all with hot glue. And it gives it definitely a different look than the tinsel had on the flamingo. And I think it looks a little bit more fun and beachy. And I went ahead and did the same thing on the second one as well. And we have our two little terry cloth like flamingos. Now it does have the little holes there where the eyelashes were before. They weren't really salvageable, so I kind of just left it as is. Kind of left a little hole there, like a raised bump for the eyes, but that's okay. Now I wanted to kind of do just like a burlap ribbon here along the bottom, just to kind of create a bottom border to this sign. And then I'm going to use this little heart. This is a Christmas ornament that I got on clearance at Target, but you can use any kind of heart you've got. I liked the fact that this was this pretty color of wood and a really nice stain, and it fit perfectly here in between our little flamingo legs. Now we're ready to go ahead and start gluing the flamingos down to the sign, just kind of going around all the edges that are going to connect with the sign. And we're going to attach our little flamingo. I want these flamingos to look like they're standing with like a tropical background, but I want them to look like little lovebirds. So I'm also gluing down just the legs and anywhere that I think needs it to make sure that that stays put. And I thought about covering these with those little pink leather purses from the Dollar Tree. I have used that on flamingos before. That turns out really cute as well. Now I'm just going to do some hand lettering on here with just a white paint pen. And I'm going to have it say lovebirds because that's what they are, right? And I'm just doing like a skinny font, like kind of like a Rae Dunn font. If you don't feel like you can letter like that, you could always use stickers or your Cricut and do some lettering, but that looks pretty good. And then to cover the little hole in the ornament, I'm just going to take some twine and we're just going to tie off a very simple bow. It's such an easy way to cover holes in ornaments like that where you kind of want to cover that up. Just going to glue that down inside on our little lovebird sign. And I think this flamingo DIY turned out super cute as well. And this is how it looks. Very, very cute. Now I want to hang this sign on my wall. So this was kind of a palette sign. I'm just going to go ahead and use some twine. And since it's a thick sign, I can use my staple gun, tie some knots, and just make a very simple hanger for the back of this. I almost always use twine. Sometimes I like to use the little sawtooth hangers that you can just nail right in. They're so easy. And here's our little lovebird sign. I think it's so fun. Now I wanted to give it like another like coastal beachy touch. So I'm going to use a sand dollar. This is one of the smaller ones that I got on Amazon, but you could totally use the bigger ones from the Dollar Tree as well if you wanted to recreate. And I thought about a starfish too, but I kind of like it with just a sand dollar like that. And here is the final product. Our little towel flamingo lovebirds.
Unfortunately, Dollar Tree has discontinued my favorite pattern of that palm leaf wallpaper, but I do have a free printable. I'll try to remember to include down in the description of today's video where you could print it out to recreate it because it's so pretty.
We're going to do another Valentine heart project, another one of those signs from the Dollar Tree. And look, this is the matching sign that I got at Goodwill. It's the same exact size as that first sign that we made. And so it's going to make a great pair piece. But I'm going to kind of do a whole different thing with this heart than I did on the first one. But I do want them to have the same background. So I'm using that white removable wallpaper and like the wood board pattern, and we're going to do exactly like we did before. Put that on there, cut another strip, and kind of piece that together. It's so easy to work with that wallpaper because you can just start and stop your pattern just like you would if you were wallpapering the wall. And again, you could always paint the sign to begin with, but this was just kind of a time saver, and it looks really cute too. Now this had that same black sides to the sign, so I'm just going to go in and distress that all over with white to kind of give it the same appearance as the white boards for this sign. Now I'm not going to do like rope love on this sign. I'm going to kind of decorate this one completely different, but I kind of wanted them to be a set. So I wanted them to be the same size and have the same kind of background. This is the other heart. This one's like got like the gray faux wood with the burlap. But again, I'm just going to pull the burlap off there because I want to start from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do is I just decided to use that as the back. That way I don't have to deal with all that crazy glitter that was on there. And we're just going to decorate the back of this one. And we're going to use some more driftwood. So this is some of that driftwood that I got on Amazon, but I'm going to use that Target driftwood that we used before for the slatted driftwood heart sign. But this is going to be kind of a different kind of a driftwood heart, and it's going to give you like another option if you like want more ideas. About covering the entire heart with the driftwood, but I wanted to kind of leave it this natural color of wood, but it was too closely matched with the whiteboard, no contrast whatsoever, and so I wanted kind of a pop of pink, and I'm going to use some of these little scrub washcloths from the Dollar Tree. You guys know I'm always crafting with all different kinds of materials I can find for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, and this is no exception. I thought that would make a great border for our driftwood. And so the colors don't match. It's going to give me a contrast. I carefully iron that because I don't want that little washcloth to melt. And then I'm just hot gluing that over our little wood heart. This would have been easier to do before I attached the heart to the sign, but you know, we're going to make it work. So I hot glued it to the heart, and then I'm just trimming off the excess fabric. And this is like a great like mottled pink color, a really cool color and texture to this washcloth. This was the first time I'd ever crafted with those before, but I was a big fan on how this turned out. Now, to cover the seams around the edges, it's a little rough there where I just covered. I'm going to use some of this thinner brown rope from the Dollar Tree to frame that out. I kind of wish I would have used this thicker rope to frame out the first heart sign that we made. That way they kind of match a little bit more. But I kind of needed to use the thicker one for this one just because I covered it with that thick washcloth and I kind of needed a thicker border. And it's going to clean up any crazy cutting that took place there from covering that with that washcloth. But isn't that pretty, that material? Who knew like a little scrubbing washcloth could be so pretty? And now I can go ahead and start building. I'm just going to glue my driftwood onto that fabric. And I'm just trying to build out the shape of a heart. So you can see how different the pieces are. And again, just putting it together like a puzzle. I want my end result to look like a heart inside of a heart. And I'm kind of working back and forth, kind of going one direction and then kind of going the other, which is going to kind of give me more of that heart shape, and then kind of piecing the pieces together to fill it in. And it might not be the most even heart, but it turned out pretty cute. Now, when you get to like odd areas like this, just kind of make it work. You can always glue the pieces to each other, but sometimes you have to go through about 5 or 6 pieces to find one that was going to work. That's going to be the perfect shape and size to fill in the hole because I really want to give it the appearance of a heart shape. And then I'm going to keep doing that all along the top part of my heart as well, just kind of one piece at a time. And this is a driftwood heart sign, but it's totally got a different feel than the first project that we did. And filling in the last few pieces here, trying to cover up all the pink from the washcloth so none of that shows through. And then just trying to find that final couple pieces to kind of give it that arch shape for the top of the heart. And trying to make it look as symmetrical as I can. Now, this is a silicone mold that I got on Amazon. It's linked below in my Amazon shop. And we're going to make some really cool little seahorses with it. So this is used for like fondant icing and stuff like that. But you can also use hot glue to make your own DIYs with these silicone molds. I think this is such a fun trick. I think this was the first time that I ever did it. I'm just carefully filling in the little seahorse molds with hot glue, trying not to use too much, just enough to fill it in. But if you do too much, you can always trim it up later. And then I'm going to pop that in the refrigerator for a few minutes to make that set up. I also found some of these little craft board Be Mine at the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, and I thought this would be really cute on this sign as well. I was trying to decide if I wanted to put it in the corner or on the heart. And I want to give it a beachy touch, and I'm going to use this color, which is Caribbean blue, just using a makeup sponge to paint that. You can tell that, the brown color, you have to go over it with a couple coats to kind of get a bright color. And our little seahorses have hardened up. So this is the final reveal of whether it worked or not. I'm just peeling the silicone mold back. And I also have some of these for like sea turtles and such. Such a fun way to make your own decor. And look how cute that is. I did overfill it a tiny bit, so I did have to trim it down a little bit. But man, the texture on these is unbelievable. So I just go in with scissors to trim off any excess hot glue that I don't want there. It's pretty obvious if you do overfill it, pretty much exactly where you need to trim it. I'm thinking that if I use like my more fine tip hot glue gun, I could get like a better, easier fill on those. But this was using my big kind of industrial Ryobi glue gun. It likes to squirt out a lot of hot glue. But once you have your little silicone mold hot glue things, you can always paint them. So I'm using that same Caribbean blue color, and I'm going to make 2 little blue seahorses for this project. And this is great if you're doing something off season, you can't get any of like the little wood sea shapes. You can always just make things from scratch with just hot glue. I was amazed at how cute these turned out. So I'm going to use some hot glue on the back of that Be Mine little craft wood piece, and we're going to put that over here in this corner. And then I want to attach the little seahorses to our little sign as well. And I really like the contrast of the pink against the blue. I thought about putting them on the driftwood heart or putting them in the corner, and I decided to end up going with the corner on those as well. I kind of want the driftwood heart to kind of stand alone, and I want to do 2 little like kissing seahorses over here to the right. And I think they look so pretty. And I'm just hot gluing the hot glue on with hot glue. So stinking cute. Okay, I wanted to make another quick expo for this one as well. So just using that brown burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to use some of the XOXO ribbon again. That's white and pink. And then we're going to use some of this Shore Living seahorse ribbon from the Dollar Tree as well to give us a little pop of blue in that expo. And we're just going to put them in an X and zip tie this together. Cut off the excess zip tie and kind of arrange these and trim them down to size. Expos are my favorite because they're so simple to do. And you can make them out of just about anything. And I thought that'd be a nice little touch here at the top of the heart. We kind of did one on the other heart sign that we're going to be hanging this with. We're going to do this one here on the opposite side that we did before. And just glue that on to like the washcloth part of the heart. Now, instead of a little rosette for this one, I'm going to use a little seashell with a little touch of pink in there as well. Just something I had from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to hot glue that in the middle of this expo on this side. And this project evolved a lot. It's not originally what I pictured, but I love how it turned out. I think it's so interesting and fun. And check out the texture
on those cute little seahorses. So you can use molds just for hot glue. You don't have to use resin, but if you wanted to use resin, I think that would work out really well too. But using the washcloth, I think is definitely unexpected.
Okay, our next Valentine's DIY, we're going to use one of these little wood shop sailboats from the toy department at the Dollar Tree and some felt heart stickers from the Dollar Tree as well. And this is my first time building one of these little sailboats from one of these kits, but it could not have been any easier. It comes with all of the wood and pieces that you would need. Now, I thought I can make it look a little bit better than just the raw wood. So I'm just going to stain mine with a little antique wax by Waverly, going over that wood just to kind of make it look a little bit more high end. And I'm just going to go in and stain all the pieces now. Before I put it together, I thought it would be easier to do it now. And I'm just using a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree and then just wiping off any excess with a paper towel. I love staining stuff with the Antique Wax by Waverly just because it is so quick and simple and you don't have to wait for anything to dry. So it's got these two little pieces here. The larger dowel, it's got the bottom of the boat, and you can see there's a couple other pieces as well. So this is a pretty simple construction for a sailboat, but it turned out really cute. I kind of like the simplicity of it, and just a really fun DIY for Valentine's Day. So this is how you put it together. And don't worry, if you get one of these, it does have directions. I'm just going to use hot glue to put it together. It's just going to make everything that much faster and easier. And it works pretty good for this as well. Used a little bit too much there on the back. And then we're going to glue this piece down as well. And then we can start building this boat. So this is like the mast of the little sailboat. And then this little piece goes here, coming out the bottom. And I did have a little trouble with hot gluing that, but it actually kind of worked better, just kind of wedging it in there. I noticed that one of them was a little thicker than the other one. So I'm kind of seeing which one fits better in which hole, because it's not going to be perfectly drilled out. And then just twist it around. And now we have everything we need to make our little sailboat. So it comes with some string. So I'm going to kind of put that through the hole on the top. Making sure I have that all glued down and then tying that off down here at the tip of that, pulling it tight and then tying it to the other side. Just a very simple construction for this sailboat, but it turned out really cute. Now for the sail, it came with these little sails like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and start hot gluing that on just to the string, which makes this project go even easier. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with the other sail. Just kind of using what came with it. But if you wanted to do your own custom sail fabric, that would be really cute as well. And then I'm also going to glue it to the bottom here. And I felt like a true kid putting this together. But that's okay. It turned out really cute. Now, I wanted to decorate this for Valentine's Day because you're like, Julie, this is a sailboat. What does it have to do with Valentine's Day? But I thought it would be a really cute little boat if I just take one of these little red felt stickers from the Dollar Tree and just decorate the sail. And now we have a little Valentine's Day decoration. Isn't it cute? I thought about using two, but I really liked one. I think it was really fun.
With just one of the hearts. But what a quick and easy Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIY.
I love these little kits. Be sure to check the toy aisle. Like, even like by the puzzles, I've seen them a lot, but it can be a really fun little coastal piece.
Okay, you ready for another DIY? I just DIY'd this same exact book stack from the Dollar Tree for my Valentine's Day coffee bar the other day, but I'm going to show you another option. So it's already painted for Valentine's Day, and they had these last year. They have them again this year. I'm just going to go ahead and try to repaint these. And so I'm just going over it with some ivory acrylic. These book stacks are not covered in it's not like a painted wood. I wish it was because I think it would make it easier to paint. It's kind of a paper on top of the wood and it's really kind of on there. So I think it might be kind of hard to get off. So basically I just do lots of layers until I get just an ivory painting all over. And then I'm just going to tape off with some painter's tape the bottom two books so we can start painting this. And I'm just doing a bright red, candy apple red, to do the middle book in red. You could leave these as is, but I always like to customize my stuff, and I really like all my DIYs to kind of go together, and a lot of these DIYs today do. Now, this was the issue. Do you see this? I guess because it's, paper. So when I painted that on the coffee bar the other day, I did not tape because I didn't want to cause damage, and I did a lot thinner coats of the paint. So I went back, touched it all up, as you can see, and now I'm going to try to do some lettering on here. If you want your letters to look perfect, you could always use your Cricut or some little tiny letter stickers, possibly from the Dollar Tree, but I'm just going to kind of freehand this on. I don't want the paint to go everywhere, so I'm actually just using a red Sharpie from the Dollar Tree, and I want to put some words on here. So I do love as here on the top book, and then I'm going to do ocean here on the bottom, just kind of working from right to left. So my spacing will be okay. And I'm going to have this say, love as deep as the ocean. I thought that'd be really cute for my theme that I was doing for these Valentine's DIYs. So I do use a white paint pen to do this. And I just got some new white paint pens on Amazon. They're really good. I'm going to have to add those to my Amazon shop because I go through white paint pens like crazy. I don't know about you. Now, I wanted to decorate it a little bit, so I thought we'd use one of these little octopus, little craft board pieces from the Dollar Tree, like that maybe, and kind of tie the books together with just some of this red and white tiny gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I love this stuff. I picked this up like in all different colors for all different seasons. So cute. And then I thought we could put the little octopus right here on front. I'm not going to paint him. I'm just going to leave him that brown color. I think that looks kind of cute. And we have our love as deep as the ocean book stack. Very personalized, very cute for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to display it with a heart on top, so I didn't bother decorating like the top of the book, but could if you wanted. Okay, are you ready for another Valentine's DIY? This is just a wood heart from the home decor section at the Dollar Tree, but you could use like the little conversation heart ones from the Valentine's aisle. I think they're approximately the same size. This one might be a tiny bit chunkier. I am just painting the back in that candy apple red just because it would be easier than covering the writing on the back. And the red doesn't cover the brown great, but we're going to try to make it work. And I did notice there was a little bit of residue on there, so I'm just going over it with another coat of red to kind of give ourselves like a nice red background. I kind of want to leave the sides white. I kind of like the two-tone effect. And then I thought we could decorate it with seashells. Now, these are those little tiny seashells from the little glass bottles at the Dollar Tree. You guys know I love these. I use these kind of shells all the time. I'm just going to use these. I'm trying to find like enough of them that are like the same kind of size and color. But you could always use whatever you have. But this size was perfect to do this with. Just trying to do a heart shape the best that I can here.
all around the edges. And I like how the seashells, like the natural color, kind of pops against that bright red heart. And so now it's just a matter of gluing them on. I'm just gluing them with hot glue, and what I do when I'm gluing shells on like that is I just go that like lip, the outside lip of it, if that's going to be up like that, and then just glue that down, and that's usually enough to hold it on there. Be careful though, don't burn yourself with your hot glue. Um, you could always use other kinds of glue as well, but I love hot glue for crafting. It works really well and it's so fast. And I'm trying to get as many Valentine's DIYs out for you as I can. And last one, we have a little seashell Valentine's Day heart. I think this is really cute, and I'm going to display this on top of those wood book stacks that we just made. This is how it turned out. Our little seashell Valentine's Day heart.
Really easy to do, and it turned out oh so cute. This is how it looks displayed with that book stack that we also DIY'd.
This DIY is probably my favorite one. I'm going to use 2 of these little wood trays from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to build a kissing booth with these. So I'm going to do some hot glue to attach them end to end like that. And basically I'm going to stand them up on their side, and that's going to be the long ways. It's going to be like the front of my kissing booth. Now, once I get them glued together like that, I was a little worried it might need a little bit more stability. So I just cut down a popsicle stick to fit, and I'm just going to reinforce that a little bit here on the back so it stays together. Super cute. It's a great way to make a bigger piece out of 2 smaller Dollar Tree pieces. Now I'm going to go over the whole thing with just some white acrylic, just to give myself like a clean background here to work with. And I found a great kissing booth sign at the Dollar Tree. They have them again this year. They have them in red or pink, and we're going to use that for the top, but basically we're just building the base here of that little kissing booth stand. So, you know, they have the little tiny kissing booth stands this year, but this is going to be a larger version. It's really cute. So I'm just going over all the sides with that. I'm not going to worry about the inside of that because that's going to be the back of it. But I just wanted a nice white background. Now I'm going to use some of this craft wood from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just measuring here. I'm going to go cut this down with my saw. And now we have 2 pieces of this craft wood. I love working with this stuff. And I'm just going to go in and paint that ivory as well. Just the same as the little trays. Now I'm going to go on the back and attach this with hot glue to the edges of the back of the sign. And this is what's going to hold up the kissing booth sign. Excuse my head. And I needed something a little bit stronger because, you know, the kissing booth sign we're going to hang up there is pretty large. So I'm using this thicker wood. But you could always probably get away with a ruler as well. That'd probably work. Just you need 2 sides for your kissing booth. And that's what we have so far. It's coming together. And this was actually functional as well. I displayed little Hershey Kisses on this that everybody could eat for Valentine's Day. So the little sign has like a little white sign in the middle that you can turn open or close, which is super cute. Mine didn't really want to spin too well though. So I'm just tying a little bit of twine just to make a little spacer there in the bottom, just to make it work a little bit better. And that seemed to fix it. But these are really cute. And again, they have these like in red or pink. Isn't that cute? And they have little white lips on them. And it's going to be the perfect size here to fit at the top of our little kissing booth. And I kind of did, like I did, you know, the white sideboards on the back. so that you can kind of reach on the top of this and get Hershey Kisses a little bit better. But you could also do it the reverse way, where you have like this on the front part of the sign by attaching the wood to the front of the sign instead of the back. And I just attached that to both of those wood pieces with hot glue. Now I wanted to decorate this with some sea creatures, since I was doing kind of a ocean kind of red and white theme, and I thought red sea creatures, crabs, and lobsters would be great. And these are actually like I think summer wind chime decorations. But you never know. A lot of my stores, I can still find the summer stuff like back either like usually in the party aisle at my stores. They don't sell out of it, they just keep it, and you can find stuff off season as well. And I do that a lot. So it does have holes for the wind chime. So the first step is I just had to fill that in with a little bit of spackle and try to sand that off to try to make that not so obvious. But I wanted to use this great lobster and crab, since they're both red creatures, to decorate the front of our kissing booth. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over the whole thing in ivory. And then I am going to just use a black Sharpie to draw the pattern back on. I could see it, as you could see, through the paint. And then what I'm going to do is paint these little guys red, but then you'll be able to see this outline through the paint is my plan. So I'm going to do the same thing here with our little crab, just drawing it all on. Super easy, just tracing. And that way this will have like the ivory background that's going to go with like my red and ivory theme that I'm using for these DIYs. So I'm just going to go over it with that red, candy apple red acrylic paint with a coat of that, and then we can decorate the front of our kissing booth. See how you can still see the black Sharpie through it? That's what I was hoping for. And I'm just going to attach those to the front of our kissing booth with some hot glue, and they fit on there just perfectly because it's rather a large little kissing booth. Super fun, and you could attach whatever you wanted to the front of it. You could do just hearts or stuff like that, or lips. That'd be cute. And then I'm just going to decorate it with some of these little tiny wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. Just add a little bit more Valentine's Day fun to this DIY. Just in red and natural. And then I thought maybe I should decorate the side as well. You can't have too many hearts for Valentine's Day, right? And check out this cute little kissing booth that we made. I think it's so fun.
And of course, you're going to have to stock it with some kisses. So I just got some Valentine's Day red Hershey Kisses, actually from the Dollar Tree, and just pile those on top of the kissing booth. Just a really fun, whimsical DIY. This would be really cute to do if you didn't do like a nautical theme or a coastal theme like this as well. Using those great little kissing booth signs, it just kind of calls to make something fun like this.
Okay, this is one of those little Valentine's Day like delivery trucks from the Dollar Tree. They have these every year. I just DIY'd the same one the other day and made a love letters mail truck for my Valentine's Day coffee bar. But we're going over this whole thing with just a bright red chalk paint. You can use acrylic as well. And then I'm just kind of using the other side for reference to kind of see what the cab of the truck needs to look like. And I just draw on a simple window and a door handle, maybe a few more details like a headlight. And then I'm just using a black paint pen just to draw on the tires. Easy peasy. Not, I have like a blank canvas. I can make a little decorative piece for Valentine's Day, but it can also be a Valentine's Day sign. I also do a line to do like the bumper in between the cab and the trailer of the truck. And then I wanted to make this fun, so I'm just going to use a white paint pen and just do my lettering. Again, you could always use your Cricut or stickers for this, but a Ray Dunn font is usually pretty easy, long, skinny letters, and that's what I was going for here. And I'm going to have this say Cupid's Fish Market. I thought that'd go great with the different DIYs that we made today. All like ocean creatures and stuff like that. Ties in a little bit of Cupid. Just touching that letter up because I kind of messed up. And then I'm using just some of these little wood stickers from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use a heart and like a little Cupid's arrow. And then I'm just going to go over Cupid's one more time with that white to really make that pop against that red background. Make it look a little bit better. Whenever you hand paint these signs, you're not going for perfection, but I kind of like the appeal of it looking hand painted. Like that. And then I thought one of these little wood fish from the Crafter Square at the Dollar Tree would be really cute on there. And then I decided to switch out one of those wood stickers for like a little Cupid, since it says Cupid's Fish Market. And I'm just using ivory acrylic, and we're going to paint that little bendy wood white fish. I love DIYing with these. And this is going to be so cute because this is going to be on top of the back of the truck. So it's going to really go with the fish market theme. And I'm just going with that red and ivory color scheme that we've been using on all these DIYs today. Whenever you paint the little bendy animals like this, though, I use a little Cricut weeder to go in there and get all the paint out of the cracks. And then I'm going to use that same ivory color to do my little Cupid heart and my little Cupid arrow. And as you can see, I'm painting with one of those little makeup sponges from the Dollar Tree. Those work great. One of my viewers gave me that tip, and I have never forgot it because I love it. Now, I am going to distress with the ivory and a chunky brush just to give it a little bit of a coastal flair, kind of break up that red a little bit. Just give it a little bit more character. And then we can start attaching these. As you can see, I painted the back of the arrow to avoid the glitter. And just glue the glitter side down. And then I'm going to put my little Cupid down as well. He's so cute. And then I didn't think that Cupid was wide enough, so I did go over it with a Sharpie paint pen. I love those. Those are pretty good too. Just to make that pop a little bit more. And then we're just going to glue our little fish to the top. This was so fun to make, and I think it turned out really cute. What do you think about it? I thought the final touch would be a little red heart to make my little fish look a little bit Valentine's Day. So I just painted one of those wood sticker hearts from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to attach that right in the middle of the little fish, like that, and then distress him a little bit. And this is how he turned out, our little Cupid's Fish Market truck. I think it's so fun and unique, and was definitely one of your favorite coastal Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs. So we did a little bit of coastal Valentine's Day today. We also did some nautical Valentine's Day as well, a little bit with these brighter red colors, but I love them both. Now it's time for the final reveal. I hope you enjoyed all 20 coastal Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs. Be sure to let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my second channel, Crafty Little Beach, where you can just get individual DIYs if you're a little bit short on time. Enjoy the final reveal.
I wanna be a weekend lover. Yeah, I'ma be the best damn lover you got. I wanna mess up your covers. I don't wanna meet your mother. Never ever ask me how I've been. Remember why you have my number. I'm the best thing that has ever happened to you. Here's your time to shine. Now show me what you can do. The way my hands feel on your body, the way we're dancing in the dark. With every move I make, you're falling. The way my lips feel on your body, the way we're moving in the dark. With every breath we take, you're falling. I ain't got no time for romance, but baby I don't want to lead you on. Not looking for something steady, not ready for that. I'm the best thing that has ever happened to you. Here's your time to shine. Now show me what you can do. Make a move. The way my hands feel on your body, the way we're dancing in the dark. With every move I make, you're falling. happened to you. Here's your time to shine. Now show me what you can do. Make a move. The way my hands feel on your body, the way we're dancing in the dark. With every move I make, you're falling in love. The way my lips feel on your body, the way we're moving in the dark. With every breath we take, you're falling in love. With every breath that we're taking, with every step you're falling in love. With every move that I'm making, in love, in love, in love. With every breath that we're taking, with every step you're falling in love. With every move that I'm making, in love, in love, in love. Nothing ever felt as good or as easy as when we were young. Oh. Though I felt misunderstood, it was a pleasure running away with you. We were just children acting like a doll, crazy, naive, bold and carefree. We were kids having kids, crazy, naive. It amazes me that we didn't fall apart harder than we did. Now they keep us on speaking terms. We grow and we learn. I have no regrets, only forgets. Oh, a big thank you to life for giving us sand. Oh, when the timing's right, there's no wasteland. Oh, we were just children acting like adults, crazy, naive, bold and carefree. We were kids having kids, crazy, naive. It amazes me that we didn't fall apart harder than we did. Life keeps on moving. It's yes, life goes on changing. That we didn't fall apart harder than we did. Beneath the starlit sky, our love's secret line, like leaves we soar so high. Beneath the moonlight, soft touch your hand in mine gets me every time. Lost in the city lights, our love's electric ride. You make me feel alive. I know July is gone. You make me feel alive. The world spins around. You're there, ease my mind. Like stars that never die.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. And I want to give a huge thank you to all of my YouTuber rock stars. These are my members that support my channel here on YouTube. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, Live Another Day, Maren Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, and Donna Tanner. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Every little bit helps. If you'd like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. You're going to get early ad-free access to my content here on YouTube. It's $4.99 a month, and you're free to cancel at any time. Would you like more Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs? Be sure to check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting and happy Valentine's Day.
When I was shy during the darkest time.